Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana Jaya Yamuna Chiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jayo Vishnupad Ramacharya Stota Shri Śrīmad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Krantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Gaur Premanande All glories to some devotees Hare Krishna All glories to some devotees Hare Krishna All glories to the devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga and Śrīmad Prabhupada. Okay, I don't have Bhagavatam. Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so we are reading from the 11th Canto, chapter 5, Narada's teachings to Vasudev, text number 5. Vipro Raja Vaishova Hare Prapta Padantikam Shrotena Janmanatapi Muyanti Amnaya Vadina Vipro Raja Vaishava Hare Prapta Padantikam Shrotena Janama Atapi Muyanti Amnaya Vadina Vipro Rajanya Vaishava Hare Prapta Padantikam Shrotena Janatapi Muyanti Amnaya Vadina Vipradanya Vaishnava Hare Prapta Padantikam Shrotena Janmanatapi Muyanti Amnaya Vadina Vipradanya Vaishnava Hare Prapta Padantikam Shrotena Janmanatapi Muyanti Amnaya Vadina Vipro Rajanya Vaishova Hare Prapta Padantikam Shrotena Janmanatapi Muyanti Amnaya Vadina. Messages? Vipro Rajanya Vaishova Hare Prapta Padantikam Shrotena Janmanatapi Muyanti Amnaya Vadina. Okay, Vipraha, the Brahmanas. Rajanya Vaisyaha, of the royal order and the Vaishyas. Va, or Hare, of the Supreme Lord Hari. Praptaha, after being allowed to philosophy then to the absolute truth, which is not material. Within the Vedic system, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, as mentioned in this verse, are all offered initiation into the Gayatri Mantra and are considered twice born or highly civilized men. By studying the Vedic literature, chanting Vedic mantras and executing ritualistic ceremonies and worshipping the spiritual master and the personality of Godhead, such persons gradually come near to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. If one in such an exalted position becomes proud of his status or fascinated by heavenly material enjoyment that is undoubtedly available to the followers of the Varnashram system, then one so bewildered returns to the illusory material platform of birth and death. Even the highly posted demigods become victims of Maya's enticement, as described in the first verse of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Vayanti Yatsuyaha, in order to justify their illusory desire to enjoy dead matter, such foolish persons condemn themselves by minimizing the necessity of worshipping the personality of Godhead and falsely try to give equal importance to the Karma Kand section of the Vedas, which award heavenly sense gratification in exchange for the performance of prescribed ritualistic ceremonies. Such bogus rationalizers are described in Bhagavad Gita. Yam imam pushpan vachaham pravadanti avipaschitaha veda vada rata partha nanyat asti vadina. Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various ritualistic activities for elevation to the heavenly planets, resultant good birth, power, and so on. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this. Srila Prabhupada's purport to this verse of Bhagavad Gita gives a clear picture of the offensive class of men described herein. People in general are not very intelligent due to their ignorance. They are most attached to the fruitive activities recommended in the karma-kand portion of the Vedas. They do not want anything more than sense gratificatory proposals for enjoying life in heaven, where wine and women are available and material opulence is very common. In the Vedas, many sacrifices are recommended for elevation to the heavenly planets, especially the Jyotisama sacrifices. In fact, it is stated that anyone desiring elevation to the heavenly planets must perform these sacrifices, and men with a poor fund of knowledge think that this is the whole purpose of Vedic wisdom. It is very difficult for such inexperienced persons to be situated in the determined action of Krishna consciousness. As fools are attached to the flowers of poisonous trees without knowing the results of such attractions, similarly, unenlightened men are attracted by such heavenly opulence and the sense enjoyment thereof. In the Karma-kand section of the Vedas, it is said that those who perform the 4 monthly penances become eligible to drink the Soma Ras beverage to become immortal and happy forever. Even on this earth, some are very eager to have Soma Ras to become strong and fit to enjoy sense gratification. Such persons have no faith in liberation from material bondage, and they're very much attached to the pompous ceremonies of Vedic sacrifices. They're generally sensual, and they do not want anything other than heavenly pleasures of life. It is understood that there are gardens called Nanda Kanana, in which there is good opportunity for association with angelic, beautiful women, and having a profuse supply of Soma Ras wine. Such bodily happiness is certainly sensual, and therefore there are those who are purely attached to material temporary happiness as lords of the material world. The significant point in this verse is that such bewildered materialists who have become attracted to the materialistic portion of the Vedas, Muyanti Amnaya Vadinha, desire to ignore the supreme proprietorship of the personality of Godhead, who is the supreme enjoyer, Bhaktaram Yagatapasyam. And at the same time they wish to preserve their exalted status as followers of the Vedic principles. Such duplicitous persons take shelter of materialistic philosophers such as Jaimini, who deny the existence of God as a tangible principle, Ishvara Siddha, and therefore recommend material fruitive activities as the highest noble truth. Such so-called Vedic philosophers amount to little more than polished atheists, and are therefore understood as to be Anishvara Vadina, or those who preach against the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although such foolish materialistic followers of the Varn Ashram system desire to maintain their exalted status as Aryans, or twice-born men, and at the same time neglect the personality of Godhead, it is clearly stated in the Bhagavatam, Stanad Brashta Pati Ada, such persons inevitably fall from their position into a degraded condition of life. As confirmed in this verse by the word Muyanti, they fall into the darkness of ignorance. Sometimes such pompous persons even present themselves as gurus. However, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has pointed out that they are actually lagu, or flimsy, rather than guru or heavy with Vedic knowledge. It is one's ultimate duty to oneself, sarvagati, and to the personality of Godhead to give up all materialistic activities characterized by karma and gyan, and surrender fully at the lotus feet of the Lord. Only the most unfortunate person will consider that there is a higher pleasure than ecstatic surrender at the lotus feet of Gokulananda, the personality of Godhead. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Umnitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Nobistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Upakadam Vidyavidanti Smidantikam Vanchakalpatarubhishcha Kripa Sindhuvevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, this purport is discussing a big problem. And what is that problem? Is pride, isn't it? That when we become elevated in society as very religious people, spiritual people, in some way representing God as the Supreme Personality, we become proud. And then from that pride, we think we know better. We think we know better than Shastra. We want to come up with our own idea, our own opinion. This is my opinion, isn't it? Something we're very attached to, my opinion. Jai. Because it's described, the material creation has these different layers, and each layer is 10 times thicker than the previous layer. So you have one layer comprised of subtle matter, and that is the mind. And how difficult is it to overcome the mind? Like Arjuna is saying, it's like overcoming the wind. And then 10 times thicker than the mind of subtle matter is intelligence. So that's even harder to overcome. And then 10 times thicker than that, it is the false ego. So that is the hardest thing to overcome as we progress in Krishna consciousness. To surrender our false ego to Krishna, to become truly humble. And therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, it says, Dambo Dapa Vimascha Krodha Purusha Evacha. That pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, and harshness, and ignorance, these are the qualities that belong to those of the demoniac nature. Damba, pride, Darpo, arrogance. So this is a real problem. And if we can have so many qualifications, we can have so much knowledge, so much experience in devotional service, so many years, and know so much, and we've done so much activities for Krishna and so much wonderful service. All those are like the zeros. But if we don't have the one at the end, that's like humility. Then it's just zero. It's not worth anything. So even so many years we can be in devotional service, but so easily we can become overcome by this false ego. So something we have to be very careful of in devotional service. So there's the story from the 6th canto of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, that Lord Indra, he's sitting on his throne and he's surrounded by all his courtesans, and the apsaras are there, are dancing, and he's getting fans by the chamara, and he's feeling on top of the world. And then what happens? His spiritual master, Brihaspati, enters the assembly, and what does Indra do? He's getting so intoxicated by the opulence of his position, he doesn't offer any respect to his spiritual master. He does not stand, he does not acknowledge his spiritual master, nothing. He's just so much bewildered, and his spiritual master becomes offended. Like, what is this? This is not proper etiquette. Not because for his own self, but because he is representing Krishna. This is not proper way to treat a representative of Krishna. So he leaves the assembly, and Indra understands, oh, I've done something wrong. And he looks for Brihaspati everywhere, he goes to his home. He's become, by his mystic power, become invisible. He cannot find him. And then, of course, the demons, because they have properly worshipped their spiritual master, they properly followed his wisdom, his advice, the demons become powerful. And so by the potency of Shukracharya, now they are invading the heavenly kingdoms. And the devas now go to Lord Brahma and ask, what can we do? We cannot find Brihaspati. So he says, well, if you cannot find, you can find a temporary spiritual master in Vishwarup, and he can help you. So they approach Vishwarup, and he becomes their priest, and in that way they are saved from the invasion of the demons. Of course, Vishwarup had mixed loyalties and a whole other story there, but you can understand the essence of the story of how important it is to respect the spiritual master, because Krishna appears as Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. So the first sign of pride is that we want to disrespect these three representatives of Krishna, Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Like I have a quote here that submission to Guru Shada, that says from Sri, it says, Sri Narottam Das Thakur says, Sadhu Shastra Guru Vakya Chiteta Kariya Akya. One should accept a thing as genuine by studying the words of saintly people, the spiritual master and the Shastra. The actual center is Shastra, the revealed scripture. If a spiritual master does not speak according to revealed scripture, he is not to be accepted. Similarly, if a spiritual person, saintly person does not speak according to Shastra, he is not a saintly person. The Shastra is the center of all. So, Lord Brahma, Indra became bewildered by his material opulence, and therefore he did not want to follow, he did not respect the representative of the Supreme Personality, Krishna, Brihaspati. So this is the effect of material opulence, that it bewilders us, that it intoxicates us. So that's why Srila Prabhupada advocated simple living, that to try and reduce the intoxication of material opulence. Like Queen Kunti is saying in her prayers, my Lord, your Lordship can be easily approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted, one who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education and bodily beauty, cannot approach you with sincere feeling. So it's all about desire. So if we have too much materialistic desires and then we attain those desires, what happens? We become proud. We cannot approach Krishna, we cannot sincerely bow down to Krishna because of this pride, this intoxication of material opulence. And then what happens when people become proud? They cannot follow, they cannot respect scriptural authority. They think that their own intelligence is something very wonderful. They have their own opinion. Instead of the opinion of Shastra, instead of the opinion of Sadhu, instead of the opinion of Guru. We want our own opinion. So this is a problem. Like we see in the Gaudiya Math, that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta says that after he leaves, he wants the Gaudiya Math to be managed collectively. He wanted a GBC. But then his disciples, they had their own opinion. And then what happens? It's completely splintered, and there's so much law, so much things happening in the court, trying to claim ownership of this temple and that temple, and everyone's too busy fighting for ownership of temples, and preaching stopped. And therefore Srila Prabhupada had to start ISKCON, because it had fallen apart. So that's what happens. People value their own opinion above the opinion of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. And here it's describing that the Brahmanas, they became proud. So instead of emphasizing worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, they emphasized karmakanda as a method of religion, that I worship the gods, and from the gods I get money, and I get opulences, and I do this and that. I get to fulfill my material desires. And in the next life I get to go to heaven also. And that is their idea of religion. That we do exchange with God. I give you this, I give you 5 rupees, and in return I get 5 crores. This is good business. And that is their idea of religion. Exchange. We bring the Lord our shopping list, and we give some little donation, and then He must fulfill. And if He doesn't, well, there's so many gods. There's lakhs of gods. This God doesn't work, we go to the next God. We fire that God. God, you are fired. Going to the next one. Till we get the God that works for us. Like my neighbor, he was worshipping that God. Look what happened to him. He lost his job. That's a bad God. I'm not worshipping that God. I'm going for this God. Look at that neighbor. He's worshipping that God, and he's doing well in life. That must be a good God. So that's people's idea. They don't want just heaven in the next life. They want heaven in this life. And the gods better provide. Otherwise, And if we go to so many gods and they're still not providing, then forget about God. We do not need God. He is not working for us. Look at the Westerners. They're getting opulence. They have no God at all. What is the need of God? Isn't it? This is people's conception of religion. God is there to provide opulence and to give us material facilities. He does not provide, throw Him away. Bad God. Make science our God. Isn't it? Science is our God. And the scientists, they are priests, they are giving us opulence. What is the use of these Vedic priests anyway? Are they giving us opulence? No, they're not giving us opulence. Throw them. We'll accept the scientists as our priests. They are giving us opulence. So this was the people's idea of religion. But great reformers like Lord Chaitanya, he taught a different idea, that it is not about opulence, it's not about worshipping the gods to get opulence, it's about love of Krishna. And of course, the existing priests, they do not like Lord Chaitanya's idea of religion. And they do not like that Lord Chaitanya, he's just giving the Hare Krishna mantra to everyone and everyone. Whoever they want it, they can accept. You say, even if you're a Muslim, here, take Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, like Haridas Thakur, one of his greatest followers. But he was a Muslim. What was his caste? He had no caste, outcast. But here he is giving the holy name to Haridas Thakur. Even Haridas Thakur could not enter the temple of Lord Jagannath. Why? He was too fallen. He was outcast. But still, Lord Chaitanya did not care for this idea. He was giving freely the holy name. And the Brahmanas of the time, they did not like this. So they appealed to the Chandkazi. They said, this person, Lord Chaitanya, he is destroying our Hindu religion. You must do something. There's these Vaishnavas are making so much noise. You must stop them. Stop them from destroying our Hindu religion. Even his converting Muslims. You have to stop this. So the Chandkazi said, yes, you're right, I'll stop this. So he sends his guards, and the devotees are there chanting, and they take the Madanga and they destroy the Madanga. This Sankirtan, it is illegal. We've made it illegal. Stop this or you'll be punished. So the Lord's devotees, they go to Lord Chaitanya, they say, the Chandkazi, he's making our movement illegal. What should we do? And of course, Lord Chaitanya becomes angry. Immediately he wants to kill the Chandkazi. But Haridas Thakur says, no, you're the most merciful incarnation. You cannot kill him. So then he starts the first non-violent protest. He started it even before Gandhi. Can you imagine? There's a non-violent protester before Gandhi. There's Lord Chaitanya. So all the Vaishnavas, thousands of people, they go out onto the street and they're chanting everywhere. They do not care about the Chandkazis making their chanting illegal. They say, we will protest. So all of them, they're chanting, and the guards are getting afraid that these people, they're chanting and they are angry also, and in ecstasy also. That they seem to be empowered. There's something going on here. They become afraid. They cannot stop these people of chanting. And they storm onto the gates of the Chandkazi's palace, stamping all over his flowers and his beautiful ornamented gardens. And they come into his palace, and Chandkazi himself becomes afraid. His guards can do nothing for him. And then Lord Chaitanya approaches Chandkazi. Come out, Chandkazi! And he's afraid. He's hiding. He doesn't want to come out. He says, do not worry, we will not hurt you. So he comes and he speaks to Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya explains that the purpose of all religion is love of Krishna, love of God. That Krishna is not an Indian God. Krishna is for everyone. And he converts the Chandkazi. Because in fact the Chandkazi had a dream of Lord Nrsimhadev. Lord Nrsimhadev was angry. He had scratched him in his dream, and he woke up and he had these scratches, and he understood he had made a great aparad to Allah. Allah had appeared in this gruesome form to him, and he understood. And so he surrendered to Lord Chaitanya, and he accepted, and he said, even my descendants, they will not stop the Sankirtan movement. So even today, the descendants of the Chandkazi, they respect Vaishnavism. So this is going on even in Lord Chaitanya's time. The Brahman caste Brahmanas, smarta Brahmanas, they were trying to obstruct the Sankirtan movement. And even in Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's time, he had similar issues. That there was this big debate that happened in 1911. They had this big conference at Baligai in Midnapur, where Srila Bhaktisiddhanta debated with Vaishnava scholars and caste Brahmins to establish the principle that even if a non-Brahmin is initiated into Vaishnavism, he can still worship the Shalagram Shila, and he can still even give initiation to others, even though he is non-Brahmin. So at the time, this was a heretical idea. This is something not done. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, he was doing this. Because we have faith in the holy name of Krishna, the purifying effect of the holy name of Krishna, and the mercy of the parampara, that if any person, if they accept initiation in this parampara, they take up this process of chanting the holy name of Krishna, that the holy name is more powerful than whatever degraded circumstances a person may be born in. But this was a radical idea at the time of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, even in Lord Chaitanya's time, but also in Bhaktisiddhanta. So he had this big debate, and he defeated, he fully defeated all the scholars present in this debate, and they were not happy, And then even when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta would go on parikram, when he went to Vrindavan, all the temples would shut their doors to the followers of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. And they would even sometimes throw stones. Only the Radha Raman temple would allow the devotees to take darshan. The other temples, they would shut the door. They say, what is this nonsense? Giving initiation to non-Brahmins? This is complete nonsense. And in Navadvip, the smarter Brahmins, they even hired gundas to assault the Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's party and to throw stones, and even tried to kill Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, and he had to change cloth. He changed cloth with one of his disciples and dressed in white to escape the party so that he would not be injured. So this is the thing. This is what happened to the Vedic religion. It became misled by the Brahmanas. Because what is Shastra saying? Chaturvana mayasristam guna kama vibhagashaha. That one's varna is according to guna and karma. It's not according to janma, birth. But they have their own opinion. Of course, it's not that birth is completely irrelevant, you understand. Because it's, like it says, those who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life engage in my devotional service with determination. And Lord Chaitanya has even said that Janma Bhumi, that those who are born in the land of India, that they have a special duty to perfect themselves in Krishna consciousness and to give Krishna consciousness to others. So it is not that it is irrelevant. If you are born the son of a doctor, obviously your father, he can teach you. You have more facilities to become a doctor. But it's not that out of attachment, oh, my son, I love my son so much, he has to be doctor. Even if he cannot become qualified, I will make him doctor anyway. This is what happened. No, that the Brahmanas, out of family attachment, they decide whether my son is qualified or not. He is Brahman. And like that, the whole Vedic religion becomes destroyed by not following Shastra. Yeah. So this is the problem. And even in ISKCON, we struggle to accept Shastra, because Shastra is prescribing a certain culture. And we're like, yes, we like Krishna, but we don't like Krishna's culture so much. Krishna's culture, that's, we like, a bit of Western culture, a bit of Krishna's culture, we can mix it up according to our whims, which one we like. And that's why in ISKCON we're kind of in a cultural void. We don't know what is our culture. We're here in Western culture. Are we following Vedic culture? We're just somewhere in between. Some devotees, they say, no, we are not following Varnashram Dharma, we're following Vaishnav Dharma. But where in Prabhupada's books is there a social system called Vaishnav Dharma? Did Prabhupada ever explain how to follow Vaishnav Dharma? Because this Varnashram, there's classes in Varnashram. We don't like classes, we want a classless society. Make everyone Vaishnav, We don't want this class society. We don't want bodily differences. No, we're all spirit soul. We're on the platform of spirit soul. Although we are still mainly engaged in materialistic activities, but we're all spirit soul also, So we should not have Varnashram Dharma, we should have Vaishnav Dharma. This is much nicer. There's no higher and lower and all of that things you have to worry about. Everyone is the same. Yeah. So we do not like, there's a lot of things in Vedic culture, the culture that is given by Shastra, that our modern conditioning does not appreciate. But we have to understand that when we take this vow of no illicit sex, that this is not just a personal prohibition. It's actually a whole culture. It's like a sutra. A sutra means a thread. And you pull on a thread, and out comes a whole long explanation, a whole long understanding. So, if we pull on that thread of no illicit sex, well, out comes the whole of Vedic culture. That is Vedic culture. That is all about reducing the temperature of lust in material society. Because when that temperature is very high, then society becomes destroyed. So the whole Vedic culture is meant to reduce that temperature, that people can think clearly, they can be sober, and think, who am I? What is the real purpose of life? What is my plan for my next life? But because people are not following that culture, they're following the illicit sex culture, then that temperature of lust is very high. And people can't think clearly. They can't think beyond satisfying their senses. And therefore Prabhupada said that in modern society, marriage is practically now an imagination in human society, isn't it? And we see around the world that birth rates are below replacement level. Like in Japan, the sales of adult diapers are greater than the sales of children's diapers. Isn't that crazy? People, they're following this culture, and by following that culture, they're going extinct. And they're still like, yeah, this culture is so amazing, we're going extinct, but that's okay, at least we're saving the environment. There's less of us. Yeah. So anyway, let the non-devotees go extinct, but the devotees should not go extinct, isn't it? Yeah, so we have to follow this divine culture, Krishna's culture. And therefore, at the end of the 16th chapter, Krishna begins talking about pride. And at the end of the chapter, he says, Yasastra vidim uchita vātate kamakamata nasasidim avatnati nasukam na param gatim. That those who do not follow shastric junctions and act according to their own whims attain neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. So we see the materialists, they want happiness. Isn't that what they want? But they have a society where people are not happy. That people, they have no friends, they have no relations, they have no fixed up family life. Most of them, they do not have good relations even with their own parents. Maybe they don't even know who is one of their parents. And they grow up without any affection. Because as soon as they're out the womb, then mother's back to work. Got to earn the cash, got to earn the money. Let some stranger, we'll pay some stranger to raise you. They'll give you affection. Is that, are you going to get well-rounded people like that? And who is your father? Oh, don't know who is your father. Who's going to discipline? Oh, there's no father. These men, they're also evil. We do not need them. So this is modern culture. What is that culture? Varna Shankara culture. People have a society of people who are less than human. What is their qualification for spiritual life? very less. Very difficult. Because the holy name is so powerful. Even Varnashankaras can take to Krishna consciousness. So this is what we have to do. We have to have faith in Shastra, have faith in Guru, have faith in Sadhu, and really try to implement this divine culture so that we can create a society where everyone is going back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. Any comments, questions? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for a nice class. Can you tell what is the difference between dambha and darpa, pride and arrogance? Like Krishna is using these two words. So what is the difference?
Don't actually know, sorry. Sounds like the same thing to me. I don't know. Even I looked up conceit, and dictionary it says conceit is when you act in a way which is very proud and arrogant. They sound like more or less the same thing. I don't know what is exactly the difference. But I know one of the qualities there is harshness, and harshness is definitely a symptom. If we deal with others harshly, whether I'm pride, arrogance, they're very subtle things. We cannot, difficult to know if we are proud and arrogant, but we can know in our dealings if we deal with others harshly, if we become easily angered, then maybe there's some pride is there, or arrogance, whichever one you want to call it. Does anyone else have any comments, questions? Okay, Grantharaj, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai.